Good morning. Um, I want to thank you all for inviting us and letting us be here live today. I am a second generation Hibakusha, but I didn't know my mother was from Hiroshima until I was 11. I wouldn't learn of her horrific memories until I was 31 years old and very ill and diagnosed with reflex sympathetic dystrophy, a chronic progressive neurological pain disease that affects the sympathetic nervous system and the immune system. Doctors have said that the deficiencies in my immune system are due to the radiation my mother was exposed to in the atomic bomb. On the morning of August 6th, 76 years ago, my mother was outside chatting with her best friend when an ear-shattering popping noise and an intense burst of white light caused the ground to shake as they just clung to each other and screamed. By the end of that day, my mother would have watched her beloved papa die, lost her best friend, and her home was destroyed. Over the next few years, she would lose the family that she grew up with due to radiation sickness. My mother was only 12 years old, yet she was old enough to remember these horrifying memories that kept reliving in her nightmares for her entire life. They were always worse in August, but she had them until she passed away at the age of 82 in 2015. My mother lost so much that day, yet she never lost her ability to love. But I did witness and live through her scarring from the atomic bombing as I watched and reacted to her PTSD symptoms. I also live with it now as I battle reflex sympathetic dystrophy each day. My mom was the bravest person that I will ever know, and I am so honored that she chose and entrusted my daughter and myself with her memories and her heart. Her love for us and her strength emboldens me to push through my pain and to continue to tell her story and to use the last cherry blossom with students. I've had the privilege of visiting with thousands of students worldwide, and the one thing they say that brings them to action and wanting to do something is the story of a 12-year-old little girl in Hiroshima and how easily she could be one of them. Time has passed. We're 76 years afterwards, and technology and the way we can meet people changes, but that need for human connection through our emotions, that's timeless. And so we need to be sure that the future voters or the voters and the leaders, for them to really pay attention to the treaties and the research and the statistics. They need to know of the hearts broken, the lives shattered, the homes and the loved ones lost, and the lifetime of physical and emotional scars. They need to make that connection to the humanity under those now famous mushroom clouds, so that no family ever has to go through that again. My daughter and I do what we do out of love for my mom and for the family we never got a chance to meet. We do it for that 12-year-old little girl who lost her world in an instant, but she filled our world with love and light. Thank you for honoring all the atomic bomb victims of nuclear disasters, from nuclear testing. And thank you for all your work toward peace and helping us to keep their stories alive.
Hello, I'm Sara, and I am a third generation Hibakusha. And I remember being in 7th grade in my social studies class, and we were learning about World War II. We had learned about World War II for a few years now, but this was the first time we talked about Japan, specifically Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Out of our entire textbook, Hiroshima and Nagasaki only had 2 paragraphs and 1 picture, which was the famous mushroom cloud. At the end of the day, all my classmates could talk about was how cool this mushroom cloud looked. They were laughing and making jokes, and it made me so angry. I was so upset. My grandma was under that cloud. We lost family that day and in the years afterwards. And I went home that day still very upset. And I talked to my mom and I asked her if she would come in and speak to them about my grandma's story, because I knew They weren't trying to be mean. They weren't being malicious. They just didn't know. They didn't understand. And I wanted them to. And with my grandma's permission, my mom came in and spoke with them. And it really made a difference. And that was the beginning of The Last Cherry Blossom. And now as an adult, I still believe that when people throw around wanting to nuke other countries and talking about nuclear warfare as if it's nothing, I know that they just don't understand. I know they're not bad people. And that if we can continue to share the stories and the memories of survivors like my grandma, of the people who lost their lives that day, and later on, the people who suffered, I really believe that we can make a difference. They were people just like us. They liked to listen to jazz music. They went to school, they went to work, they had friends. They just wanted peace. They wanted the war to be over. They're just like everyone else. And I truly believe that if we can get that message across to people young and old, I think we really can achieve a future where we are nuclear free. Thank you.